was great, by the way.
Dolphins stand to unite. Miami stands to fight. Lights burn bright. From the water they rise, fins cut the air. Storming fields.
Good evening, Dolphin fans, and welcome to the Fins Talk postgame show, where we react live to the Dolphins shrinking on prime time in front of the national media, the national crowd. They fall to the Ravens and fall to 2-7 on the season, 6-28, or if Evan would say it, 28-6. Baltimore winning the game. I'm Bobby Finstock, joined by my Canadian brother from another mother, Finn Stanza, who seems to be celebrating a loss. That's all right.
I don't celebrate losses.
Welcome to the show. My goodness. Halloween pack, 9 backgrounds. Interesting. I'll have to take that look after the game, after the show. But welcome you all in there. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button. The Finstock postgame show here on FTSN. We will have Adrian of the Rainy Day Podcast joining us shortly. Alex of East 10th Street Boys, my brother, and of course Mike Brown coming in who just watched the game in Miami, was there at the stadium, traveled to Disney World, got tickets to go see the game, and so he will be joining us once he gets back from the hotel. We know he will be in a mood. Bobby is the only man that could talk me off a ledge. It's gonna be hard tonight, brother. What's crazy is since I wasn't on pregame, I'm already I got a lot in me here. And I told Tristan asked me what I thought the score was going to be. And I told him, I said straight, he goes, Dad, what's the prediction? What's your prediction? And I told him, I said, son, they got Lamar coming back. They got Derrick Henry. This is what I said before the game to my son. I wasn't on pregame with Evan, and shout out to Evan and Sammy and Eddie and Mark, who was no, brother, you're good. You pop right in, Alex. It's all good, my man. Trust me, they do it all the time, brother. But anyway, now I got distracted. He messed it all up. No, but anyway, what I told him before the game, I was honest with him. I said, Tristan, because they got Lamar, because they got Derrick Henry, and it's Thursday night prime time, I just have a bad feeling. I said my prediction was 34-17. That's what I said to him. Okay. And he, 34-14. I'm sorry, 34-14. And he was like, "Oh, Dad." Yeah, of course, And then my poor baby, my poor son. I hate you suck. He was so mad. But yes, 10th Street Boys are in the building because we're usually live a little earlier than this. But since we're not doing the show tonight, we will do it Saturday night. But Alex, I'm going to come on post game. He's supposed to be on pregame, but he cut out on the guys.
My apologies.
When he found out I wasn't going to be there, he's like, "I'm not doing it." I was like, "Damn, Alex, no, he didn't say that." He didn't say that.
My bad, Evan. My bad for leaving you hanging. Practice ran late, and by the time I got home, I'm like, "Oh my God!" It was already beyond gone.
But anyway, so yes, the Dolphins fall to 2-7 after losing to the Ravens 28-6. They will face the Buffalo Bills at Hard Rock next week. Before we get into all of that, let me go ahead and while we wait for Adrian of the Rainy Day Podcast and Mike Brown, who join us a little later on once he gets back to the hotel, let's start with Alex. Since Alex, you didn't talk on pregame, and you got to see this game now. Dolphins falling back into reality, falling back to earth in this game. What's your immediate reaction, your instant reaction to the Dolphins losing to Baltimore 28-6?
Well, my instant reaction is I think we left our team in Atlanta because this looked nothing like the team that we saw this past weekend. I can't seem to grasp how a team can go. Well, I can. It's the lack of discipline. It's the lack of. How do you go from looking like a well-oiled machine against Atlanta that didn't drop a beat to this game was derailed by 3 possessions, basically. Number one, obviously accumulated at the end, but number one, the fumble by Washington, and close to by the 10-yard line, I believe. Number two, the false start on our right tackle that negated what was going to be a 4th and 1, and then the referee call on a block on a tripping foul on Ollie Gordon, which was nowhere near that. once that happened, I'm like, this team is not mentally strong enough to overcome this at all. And then we still had chance. We even had chances to tie it 14-14 before the half. If you score and then you get the 2-point conversion, which I know McDaniel would have gone for the 2-point conversion. I'm like, damn, we're wasting 3 possessions and we can still go tied. But once that second half started, there was just no going back, man. Like that, it's I don't know if they tuned out a lot of things. Someone has to be fired. Some way, somehow, either a position coach, something has to go, man. Because now it's starting. The fans with the paper bags. Now the boos are getting louder. So
I want to say very quick, because you were bringing up how it easily could have probably tied. I was thinking before it got out of hand. There was at one point when of course you see the fumble, you see the miscues, and I'm like, man, this team now. Not the second half. This ain't the story of the second half.
No.
First
we were
half,
moving the ball well.
We were down, but I was like, it's the miscues that killed the team in the first half. I was like, man, this cost them because you gave up then they scored the touchdown. So I was like,
if we could correct this,
maybe there's a chance, maybe this is a bright side. But then the second half came, and then the boo birds came, and which are legitimate boo birds. They deserve it.
Absolutely,
the Dolphins deserve it. What that was again was a joke. And here's the thing, like you said, they left that team in Atlanta. The thing is, the Dolphins are who they are. Like you're gonna have those moments where, oh my God, they had a great game. Maybe they're gonna get this right, and then they just fall right back there. And I'll tell you what, McDaniel looks about done.
Oh,
with everything.
The sequence of the false start to the missed field goal. I have never seen McDaniel from the false start. Headset comes off. Cursing galore, the missed field goal, he turns around and he looks directly at the offensive line. It's like at that point, I can feel for that because that is McDaniel is responsible for this, but that's not his fault. The fumble, that's not his fault. Like it's his fault. The fumble's his fault too. Okay.
Let me tell you why quickly.
Welcome
go ahead,
world,
please.
bro. Here we go.
Why.
Let's go.
No, I'm not. You're going to continue. I'm going to answer your question.
By the way, I love your hat. Even
I
think that's the best
reason
hat.
Why it was his fault is why is Taj Washington in the lineup and not Jalen Wright? Now continue.
That's okay, but
you're giving it to your 6 wide receiver. You have Akine, you have Waddle, you have Malik Washington.
Wait, I'm sorry. What did you say? Why is Taj Washington in the lineup?
Why was Taj Washington in the lineup over Jalen Wright?
Okay.
You can continue now.
We can make a valid point.
Oh, no. I mean, no. Here we go.
Wide receiver.
Here we
the
go.
depth.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Would you rather? I mean, I agree that Jalen Wright I understand Jalen Wright should be activated, but would you rather that ball go to Jalen Wright over Taj Washington?
No, I thought it was I'm not going to go into the details. I'm going to stay on task tonight. But no, the trick plays are stupid. You're giving it to a guy. You gave it to a Oompa Loompa. If you saw what I posted to all of you, Oompa Loompa. We have Oompa Loompas on this team, and you gave it to a guy with no blocking on a little trick play that he ran into 3 guys. Go look at the play. There wasn't one Miami Dolphin in earshot of Taj Washington. You're asking a guy who's 5'6", 5'7" at the most to run into a play where he's hardly ever done it before. He's had like 2 touches all season and into 3 Baltimore Raven players. That's a poor play call to begin with because where's the block? Where's the support for Taj Washington on that play? That's on scheme. But continue.
Stay on task with it.
But I answered your question.
Yeah,
it was on McDaniel. I put that on McDaniel. And by the way, I thought he was great today. I thought he was phenomenal.
He was. Yeah, he was.
He was phenomenal. He finally, he was phenomenal. He was phenomenally bad. It's okay. He was phenomenally bad.
That would be a perfect way to describe our team. We're phenomenally bad.
We
don't usually suck.
But buddy, Dave, what are the 5 rules of Mr. Pumford in physical science class? That was one of them. Stay on task. That's how I remember. The 5 rules, Dave. The 5 rules. Continue, Alex.
Caught intentional ground. Man, it's...
He doesn't know what intentional grounding is.
Oh. I don't comprehend
He's a moron.
how we can look like a functional team because aside from the miscues in the first half, you're thinking Dolphins could be up 21-14, 21-7, because we gave up 14, but the first one, that's not really on the defense. If they get the ball, they got to defend the football at the 5-yard line. Like that, come on. Which, by the way, I think there should be some sort of asterisk there. That should not be a defensive, or like, for example, when there's like a pick six, why does that count against points on your defense in fantasy football? Your defense was not on the field for that. Like, it should be like in baseball, like an unearned run. Like, that's where I think that there should be some assessments here. And I just went on a little mini fantasy football rant because it really pisses me off. If your quarterback throws a pick six and you have the opposition defense, or your defense, like, you should not be penalized for that, okay? My quarterback threw the pick six, not my defense.
Not your defense.
So it couldn't purposely throw the ball intentionally to the ground. It ended
We'll
up
have to ask
a throw.
now. We'll have to ask Josh Kimmel and Justin. They'll know
What?
why that's like that.
No,
Yeah,
it is like that. That's my thing. It shouldn't be like that. We have to make some changes to this at all. If you throw a pick six, the defense not even on the floor on the field, man. What's going on?
Anyway, and you already went on your little mini rant, but yeah, man. What was your prediction before the game? I'm pretty sure you picked Baltimore to win.
I thought they were going to disappoint me and win 28.
Did you pick Miami to win?
28-27.
Wow.
You picked Miami. Wow.
I took Miami just because I thought they brutalized me. But I want to just clarify something. I said something on the post-game show, which is what came true tonight. The Falcons lost to the Dolphins. The Dolphins didn't beat the Falcons. What I meant when I said that was, if you look at the history of the way that the Falcons have been playing, they lose to bad teams, right? The Dolphins came home, and this is exactly what I want to see on prime time. They have to get embarrassed. I don't want them to get embarrassed, but they have to get embarrassed.
That's what's going to cause the
firing. They have
firing.
to get embarrassed. They have to get a home game being 2-6, not when they're 0-2, not when they're 0-1, but literally, it's Thursday night football. We have histories of wonderful moments of the Cam Wake safety and all this. They started off the game perfectly. The defense was great. In the third quarter, go look at their stats in the third and fourth quarter, the defense quit. The defense quit on their coach. They quit on Tua. And they quit on this team. The only person who deserves to basically show up tomorrow for work is Devon Achane and maybe Jalen Waddle. Everyone else could go home. Because if we talk about the stats after, I'm going to read some of the defensive stats. It's pathetic. Tonight was a reaffirmation for me, and that's why I'm laughing. I watched this game, and Bobby, you know this as long as you've known me. I go on rants, and I go up and down. I sit and watch these football games with no emotion because I'm basically at that point where I've come to the conclusion, and I've already put it in my mind, that this team sucks. This team is awful. I want them to be good, but I can't get away from the inconsistency. Remember, they converted me from a full bandwagoner in 2022 to now 2025, 2024, to a complete, utter dumpster fire of a team. And I've been calling for it. And as much
we should have a timeline, Evan, of
your show.
You're just going down.
The thing is about McDaniel, I liked his reaction to when Boren made that mistake. The problem with the Boren mistake is the fact that Mike McDaniel continued to allow Larry Boren to play that position. Everyone knew how poor he was when he was signed, and you have Kendall Lamb. The guy continues to make boneheaded mistakes. Jonah Savaiinaia gets pushed into 2 on a regular basis. Riley Patterson was probably stressed by that moment because if I'm Riley Patterson, I'm put in a moment where I can't believe that I wasn't going. He actually didn't probably have time to go prepare to kick because he thought that was going to be a fourth down. I think that's why he missed it because he got rushed. Mm-hmm. The team between the Taj Washington poor play call, between the actual 4th and 1 play of going offside, missed field goal, the tripping call was awful. But come on, the 4th and 2 with Devon Achane against Kyle Hamilton. How does Tua not read that? And how many times have we said don't throw fades to Oompa Loompas? What kind of 4th down play call is that from Tua and from McDaniel? The team basically kept on shooting itself in the foot. The Ravens had nothing. Go look at the stats in the first half.
Yeah, they had nothing.
We're down and we were dominating on the time of possession, first down,
Yeah.
everything.
Yardage,
We,
everything.
we had the ball, and by the way, when running game was actually working, we had the ball at their 29, and he threw the ball 3 times. He threw the ball 3 times on the Ravens 29. The mistakes, the discipline. Mike McDaniel, it could be a very good coach. The problem is that his regression is completely laughable. The number of times they've been in games this season between the Patriots, between the Chargers, between the Panthers, every game they've been in so many games, but his offense craps the bed. Even when Tua was trying to throw another, why was Taj Washington still on the field? Nick Westbrook-Akine dropping balls. Like Lamar Jackson was rusty, and you gave him the chance to get hot. Derrick Henry had 20-something yards in the first half, and then he went off. It's because the defense quit. People say, well, did no one quit on McDaniel? No, they didn't quit on themselves. Last game was an aberration because the Falcons didn't show up. Penix wasn't there. Drake London wasn't there. For me, this game was a reaffirmation of what I've been saying since game one. The fact that people brought paper bags, they brought them down, they put them on their head to vomit. And what I don't understand is the fact that people, I said this last year and I made this commitment. And I told you, if they fire McDaniel tomorrow, the moment they fire McDaniel, within an hour of him getting fired, there will be a tweet with me with the sign, with the receipt crossed off with the price that I bought my Devon Achane jersey. That will be my first Miami Dolphins purchase because that guy is basically being. I feel so bad for this kid. He is so talented, so good, and he has to play with this. Tua is not a quarterback in the NFL. He continues to make boneheaded mistakes. Doesn't know what intentional grounding is. Can I ask you a question? How do you not throw a Hail Mary at the end of the half?
That's to me, that's bad.
He can't get it down the field. Or he's
Yeah,
confused. I don't understand it. And we can blame all the stuff. In the end, you can't change the players. All you can do is change the structure. And you know what I love? How is it possible that Chris Greer, the last two images, Bobby, how is it the last two images that we get of Chris Greer on primetime games is half his face or literally with the light
behind
him, like the headless horseman? Like, how is that possible? And then you see, Mike, why do they need binoculars? Just Stephen Ross and Tom Garfunkel and Tom Garfunkel's son and Dan Marino, do they all need binoculars to see what's obvious to all of us? And when I said on the pregame show that Mike McDaniel may have been using X to figure out what his play call should be for the game in Atlanta, he probably did. But the problem I had right now, and I got into a bit of a tussle with Brett on the chat when we were chatting. Oh, he didn't think Jalen Wright was good. But look what happens. You lost Ollie Gordon. You were still sort of in that game, and you lost your power back. You were left with one running back. No Alec Ingold, no Jeff Wilson.
No, that was an absolute.
That was a big mistake.
Miscue by the Dolphins. Yeah. You know how you go in the game with two running backs, and then Ollie goes down or has to come out. Now you're stuck with Achane. It just didn't make any sense. And you could think, and again, Brett could be absolutely right, and he say to Jalen Wright if he believes Jalen Wright's not very good. But the fact of the matter is, you don't go into a game with two backs. You don't go into you set yourself up for failure because what if then you hurt Devon Achane? Then who's running your ball? Malik Washington? Taj?
It would be Malik.
It would.
It would be Malik.
Man, I don't know. Well, anyway, let's get somebody who was live at the game because we heard it. I wonder how loud it was there. According, because we heard the boos here. So and we all heard it. It was loud. It was you saw the paper bags. He was really first off talking about Mike, the Hebrew Hammer Brown. Beer Sports and whatever. He'll be joining us. He is on a great trip in Florida. I'm glad he got to go. I'm sorry how it turned out. But I know he was on FinTalk today. He was going to town and he was happy last week. So I wonder what he's feeling right now. Let's bring in Mike Brown and get those vibes. Here we go. Mike, what's up, my brother? You were at the game, 28-6. Miami falls to Baltimore. How you feeling right now, brother?
So got the club wristband in case anybody needs evidence that I was there. And Stanza, mazel tov to you for being you.
Can Ross pronounce his Judaism? Should Ross pronounce his Judaism? I feel like he doesn't deserve to be Jewish anymore.
Yeah, Mani Sanach, Halayla Chazeh.
I don't know. Dayenu, Jesus Christ.
So, first of all, absolute pleasure to be here with y'all. This was tough. This was a tough game. It's so funny, Bobby, because like you and I talked about this team being just a few plays away. Same thing tonight, right? Like they got their ass kicked in the second half, but in that first half, they were a couple plays away. Like the missed field goal, the end of the first half, not being aggressive enough with Tua.
Mhm.
Again, it's comical to me because they went against what worked in Atlanta. Run the damn ball. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is so easy. Run the damn ball. Like, oh, here, I'm Tua. Here's the ball. Ollie Gordon. Oh, Devon Achane. Oh, run the ball. Like, and yes, tonight I can attest there were boo birds out there. Our seats were first row behind the Ravens bench. Lots of Ravens fans. Lamar's overrated. I'll say that on this show. Saw him play live multiple times. He's overrated. Would I take him on this team 100%? He's never going to win a Super Bowl. Derrick Henry, great running back. They're the third best team in the AFC at best, even when healthy. So they beat our ass tonight. The Dolphins are frauds with this roster. I think what happened in Atlanta was fraudulent after what we saw tonight because you have a head coach and a quarterback combination that doesn't stick with what works because they want to do what's sexy. They want to do the reverses. They want to do all these different things. And it sucks, man. I mean, crowd was good tonight. A lot of Ravens fans. But, it's tough, and I'm happy to answer anything crowd related that you guys would like to ask.
Okay, how long? The crowd seemed into it early. They were in the game. They were excited.
Yep.
It was pumped. And like you said, when I was watching the first half on TV, and even though Miami was down, they couldn't get past that point. Even the fumble, the penalty, whatever, the missed kick, the penalty, which was the holding call, whatever, their false start. The crowd was still in, but it felt like you said, and like Alex has said, it still felt like Miami for me. They could be in this game. They're still in this game. They just have to clean up those little bit of miscues, and they should be in it. It wasn't until the second half where it completely fell apart. The crowd seemed into it in the first half. When did you notice the vibe change in the stadium where it started, when the crowd finally said, this is ridiculous, what they were seeing?
I mean, I think it was the second half, man. Like I was with a couple buddies and it was 14-6. Why are you throwing a fade to Devon Achane and not kicking the field goal? Like, I looked at my buddy and I was like, what in the F are you doing? Kick the field goal and make it a 5-point game. My thing, Bobby, it turned in the second half, 100%. I mean, the vibe completely changed after halftime. Mike McDaniel is in so far over his head. Like, it's shocking. Like, in person. And when I say in person, like, again, our seats, client of mine, great guy, Wes, love him to death, has 6 seats, first row behind the visitor bench. Like, I am eye to eye with McDaniel, right? He is so far above, like, sea level, or under sea level, however you want to look at it. It is so upsetting as a fan seeing it live. And I mean, went to the team store, right?
Beautiful
Brand new hat.
Nice hat.
Beautiful. Like, Alex and Vince. Like, I love this team. It's my team, right? Like, I love them to death. There are so many things wrong with this organization, starting from, and this is, and allow me to divert a little bit. You go to the team store, you can't even get a Dan Marino Vapor jersey, right? Why? I would pay you a stupid amount of money to go. The team store is in disarray. The offense is in disarray. The defense in the second half is in disarray. What are we doing, man? Like, tonight? That's what I ask. Like, second half. First half, I thought it was fine. I thought they were fine. Did I love it? No. But they were in the game. And then they just got curb stomped the second half.
I want to ask Mike this question because Bobby, you're asking about the crowd.
Yeah, of
Who
course.
was asked this question, what went wrong on Thursday? And he was asked about the 4th and 1 false start from Larry Borum. You know what his answer was? Remember how Sammy says to me, like, he doesn't lie? This guy is the biggest one. His answer is that the Ravens fans at the Dolphins game was making it difficult for the Miami offense with their cadence.
Dude, honestly,
Alex, Bobby, he said that the Ravens fans at a home Dolphins game made it difficult for them to figure out the cadence of the Miami offense. He's blaming the Ravens fans for why he had trouble on offense, Bobby, at a home game.
Honestly, it's true. They had a lot of fans there.
I don't care. You're a quarterback.
I mean, the bottom line, our quarterback sucks. He's pineapple head. That's what I've deemed him. That's what he is. Like, I've tried to defend him, and Bobby and I did. A show. What was it? Saturday. Sorry, the days are kind of blending together.
Saturday.
I think it was Saturday. I mean, we did an hour and a half, right? Yeah. Where
you guys did a great job.
Thank you so much. But it was all unscripted, and we were just talking Dolphins, right? And we covered so much. And what we both came to the conclusion of is Tua is not the guy. He just isn't. For one reason or another, I don't care what conclusion you come to, he's not the guy. And we talked about Mendoza. Like, we talked about multiple different guys. And Bobby asked me, he's like, do you think he's the guy? I said, I don't know. But what you can't do over and over and over again is go into Thursday Night Football. I knew we were going to lose tonight. It's Thursday Night Football. We don't do well on national. We don't do well on national primetime games, and we don't do well on short weeks. It's time to move on. And what do you do now? Is it Chris Shula? Is it Mike McCarthy? Is it Mendoza? Is it, like, we talk about all of these different guys, and it's, I don't know, but like, I'm a disappointed parent at this point.
Yeah.
Not angry. I'm disappointed. I'm like, I made a note to come down from Orlando to here to come watch this game. And they disappoint me. And I'm tired of it. Like, I'm tired of being let down by this team. Make some decisions. Get rid of Chris Greer. Send him to hockey. Just make him an assistant GM with his brother. I don't care. Get rid of him. That's how I feel. So
I don't think you're wrong at all. And you know, it's Tua the guy. He's the guy right now. He's not your guy, you know, for the future. You're not gonna. He could be your. And like I said, Evan brought this up the other day. I think I could be wrong. I think it was that we had that debate about, or that talk. You know, the Dolphins should trade him at the end of the season. You can't. It's a big cap hit. He's your bridge. That's it. You could draft a guy. You could draft a guy, and then move on from Tua the year after. Tua showed it today. You know, he showed you in the first half. There were some really good throws. Bam, 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 bam. Some good looking throws. And then you get to the second half, and there's some boneheaded throws. And, you know, okay, sure. The reason why it's not the fans' fault that the Dolphin fans, it's not the fans' fault that they didn't show up to the game. There were Dolphin fans that went. There are the Michael Browns that travel to go to this game. There are still the fans like the Afriki who dresses up and goes to these games and pays these season tickets or whatever. There are still those fans, but you can't blame the fans who not to spend their money to go to these games and basically selling their tickets and selling to the Raven fans. You want Dolphin fans to fill the stadium, win the damn game. Finish it. You're really good in the first half. There's a lot of times we go, man, we had that game in the first half. We had that game in the first quarter. There's 4 quarters in a game.
Here's what I'm going to say about selling tickets to opposing team fans, because I'm a proponent of this and I work in this industry. You don't want the fans to sell the tickets, then win the damn game. Win the damn games, man. That's it. Like, you want to force your season ticket holders into the seats? Win the games. How about this? How about instead of raising season ticket prices year after year after year when your team sucks, how about you give them a reprieve on that when your team sucks and you entice them to come to the game? Instead of making me spend God knows how much money on this, like, I love the hat. I love my team. And I'm going to do it. But Stephen Ross, sit down in a room with us, the fans. Alex, Vince, put all 3 of us in a room, because all 3 of us, God knows, the 3 of us are not going to agree on every single thing, but we're all fans.
Right.
We're all fans of this stupid team. This stupid, godforsaken team that I'm going to get thrown out of this hotel room maybe if I continue on this podcast, and I don't care.
You can stay at my place. You can stay at my family place if you get kicked out, okay?
This team is just...
No.
I can't
listen,
anymore.
If you take a still image of Mike, that's the epitome of the frustration of a Dolphins fan. That right there, that part right there.
But I was there.
Here's the thing.
I've been there.
Hold on. Here's the thing. He's 100% right, and that's where I was leading to. You know, if you're, Evans, like, I saw that comment when Evans started reacting to it, where he said, basically blaming Dolphin fan for not having, like, dude, why don't you just own up to it? Like, again, you got to play all 4 quarters. Every time when you do good, you're all smiling, towel over your face, and hey, buddy, yeah, we're good, man. Frank Smith was on the sideline, kumbaya, blah. And then when you lose, anytime you lose, it's always someone else. It's never you. It's never we need to do better. There's 4 quarters in a game. It's not 1 quarter. It's not 2 plays. It's 4 quarters. It's always something else. Now it's the fans. Well, the fans didn't show up. Baltimore fans were louder. Dude, you're a professional quarterback. Paid like, $50 million, whatever. How many?
You play away game.
What, Alex?
Like you play away game.
It's like
it doesn't matter.
But I think what he does before every press conference when he loses, he goes in a hand. He goes, what can I blame now? What can I do? What kind of excuse can I find today? But it's, again, we're talking with Tua right now because he's the one saying this, but the entire team, like Tua, it's not the fans, it's your teammates effing up on plays, which is it? False starts, fumbles. Like, your first catch is a fumble. Taj, I know how talented. First of all, he's a kid, right? Look, sucks, but like those are the things that are killing this team. Go ahead.
2 things. Number 1, Tua is not to blame for tonight because there were multiple plays.
100%.
Like I said, being there live, like, he can't do anything about the fumbles. But you also, at the same time, can't applaud him for willing his team to victory. Like, that's the tug with Tua, is there's plays that he doesn't make that are not his fault, but he's not going to will you to victory. And, like Bobby, you and I talked about, I'm looking at a tweet right now from Joe Shad. What are you most disappointed or angry about tonight? He put out on Twitter. What? You want this team to suck because you can blow up your social. oh, we're going to get 76 responses to this. Mother effer, we're tired of this team losing. How about that, Joe? How about that, Joe? How about us saying, what you? Go away. Go away, Joe. Like, honestly, Bobby, put you in the media room. I would rather you in there. I would rather you in there talking because you would ask the real questions. Like,
No,
Alex and Fitzanta, like, I've been on shows with you guys enough to know we all ask the hard-hitting questions, right? We're here to talk about what the fans want to talk about. Joe Shad, what are the fans? What are you upset about? Motherfucker, I'm tired of losing.
what do you think, bro? What do you think? Let me throw. Hey,
By the way, I just want to give one comment, Bobby. I just have to give a comment because I need to. My oldest friend in the world you kept on texting me, and I go, why don't you give the guy some credit where the credit is due, and actually put it in the comments, and it's the truth. He's never seen you before, Mike. This is one of my oldest, bestest friends. He's known you for 3 seconds. Loves you.
Oh, I mean, listen, he obviously has good taste.
Yeah.
No,
but he's one of my best friends, so you made me not be so sure.
Bobby, I'm gonna tell you this, or all three of you. I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna sign off because I got an early flight back home in the morning.
100%, brother.
I've got a client has 6 seats in the front row behind the visitor team bench. That's where we sat tonight. Okay, right here, Lexus Club. He said tonight, "Why do I buy these seats?"
Yeah.
And my response to him was, I don't know, but I'm glad you do because I get to sit in these.
That's right.
You know, like,
You should keep buying them, sir. You should keep buying
that's
them.
what I said. But my response to him was, he lives in Tampa, right? He has these seats. He resells them. He makes good money on them. But he was like, I've been to 4 or 5 games with you now. Like, why do I buy these seats? The organization doesn't care. Like, what do? There's a nice hello when we walk into the club area.
Did you call it the Lexus Club? Lexus Club?
Yeah.
Bobby, I gotta go. I gotta go call my car broker. I drive a Lexus. I can't drive a car that's associated with the Miami Dolphins.
I want to say this very quick because Mike's about to bounce. I want to say this very quick. Because I just know I love his reactions. I want to get his reaction on this, and then you guys can follow up. And then Mike, if you want to bounce, you bounce. But Jordan Brooks on the loss tonight to the Ravens, I felt like we played well defensively. Turnovers, that kills you. Yeah. Not capitalizing, not scoring when we could, giving them the ball back.
That's a
shots fired, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then Alex, you follow with it.
This team, and I have not missed a minute of any game of this season, whether it be in person now or watching the games. They were right there in New England. Buffalo, if Sealer doesn't have that stupid penalty, they're in that game. The Chargers game, they were right there. After the first half, they were right there. This team is not as far off as people are talking about, but they also are not that close because they don't have a quarterback. Like, Tua's not that guy. I'm sorry. I've seen enough. If he was smart, retire and go do TV. I'm not a fan that I ever hope for injury because you're a terrible human being if you do that. But I hope for his sake he walks away from the game and the Dolphins can move on from him. That's what I hope. I hope because tonight, when you're there in person, it's different than watching on TV. I want Gatorade jugs turned over. I want benches flipped over by my quarterback. Like, I want some emotion. I want some, what in the F are you doing on this play? 4th and 1, you're going to have a false start. What the hell is the matter with you? What in God's name are you doing? Call the play. You know the play. Run the play. Like,
love Mike.
Listen,
I love you. I love
it's now, what is it, Friday? I turn 35, I guess, tomorrow now, right? November 1st, born 1990. They have not won a playoff game. They've won one playoff game in my life. I don't want to hear about incremental changes. Hey, we're going to win 8 games. What are we doing to win a Super Bowl? I don't care about anything besides making moves to win a Super Bowl. I don't care about, we're going to change the prices of beer. I don't care. I don't care about any of that, Bobby Vinstanza. And I don't care. Make changes. And look, when I fly home tomorrow or today or whatever the hell day it is, I'm wearing my colors because I love this team. I love the Miami Dolphins. I don't love Tua. I don't love Waddle. I don't love Achane. I don't love the players. I love the organization. Fix it. Dear God, change whatever you need to do to go win a Super Bowl.
100%. 100%.
I love you guys very much. Thank you for having me on the.
Appreciate you, Mike.
You
Safe
too, man. Have a
travels,
safe
brother.
flight, Mike.
All right, man.
Talk to you soon, brother.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it,
you,
bud.
man.
Bye.
It's Mike Brown of the Beer Sports and Whatever podcast. Appreciate my brother joining us in Miami, traveling from Texas to see the Dolphins. Well, he was doing other stuff, but he went to go see the Dolphins. God bless him for doing that. So anyway, self-imposed torture for all of us because we'd all do it too if we could. So anyway,
I was just reading, by the way.
Go ahead, Alex. You've been. I know you've been quiet.
No. I just read a statement that Stephen Ross left the game before the game was over. That is very telling. For an owner just to get up and leave before your game is over. Usually you go to the locker room, even if it's a loss. You speak to your head coach at times. So I just don't know. I don't know what is the point, because I understand the aftermath of Atlanta. There's hope there, so it kind of justifies. No, for the fans it does. For the fans it justifies why Ross wanted to wait.
Alex, you're a homer. We know that you're more positive three. You actually had hope after that game. You really did.
Well, I had hope that it would turn around because it was the most balanced attack that we had. The offense was flowing. The defense was improving. I understand they were missing, obviously, Michael Penix. They were missing Drake London. But they did capitalize and stop Bijan Robinson. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're getting – because to me, always from the beginning, the defense to me was always going to be out of whack because the players were signed right before the season. So I'm like, okay, it's going to take some time. And then we've been close in all these games. We've lost them. Obviously, with Tua's decision-making and all that, I'm like, all right, maybe they're turning the corner. And Mike McDaniel looked confident in what he was doing. I thought it was his best game calling plays, realistically, since he's been with us. Well, this season, because he's had better games where we're being more successful and more execution. And being realistic, I'm like, okay, I know the offensive line, the right side of the offensive line is hurt. If we have a healthier offensive line, does this look different? Because Achane is running like crazy still, even with the O-line being hurt. So I'm like, there's talent here, okay? Tyreek Hill doesn't get hurt. What does that do for our team? Like, you always go through these scenarios because in a season, in any professional sport, there is no season that a player goes unharmed or things don't go as planned. It's impossible. But great teams find a way. Like, the Chiefs look completely lost for the first 2 games. They find a way. But once again, that's organizational stability. That's a head coach with experience. So at a given moment, there has to be a decision made, even in season. I know Stephen Ross probably doesn't want to do any changes within season, but the trade deadline is next Tuesday, correct? Or the following Tuesday? It's next Tuesday.
This Tuesday.
There's decisions that need to be made, and there are contenders that will pay prime price for certain positions of needs. So, I mean, you're not going to trade Water, you're not going to trade Achane, you can't trade Tua, but there are defensive players that should be moved. Realistically, there's no purpose, there's no point at this. At 2-7, you're not coming back from 2-7.
So I want to just clarify, because I appreciate Frozen Fin Fan being on the show. I want every team. I had hope that they would win. I called a win today. I actually said it. I actually called a win. I was the only guy on the network who called the win who was on the show. And I didn't do it for trolling purpose. I actually said I think there's
Exactly. You
I did
don't even do that. Hey, I'm the only optimist here. I chose the
No,
you
no, I want to
blind
clarify the
stack
comment.
of
No, let me
caca.
clarify the comment. Let me clarify the comment.
Okay.
And you did. I did this to you once. Remember, we did it. You used to knock me for it. Even if they won today, I looked and I go. Even if they won against Atlanta because of what happened in the previous game, even if they beat Baltimore with a rusty Lamar Jackson, who was rusty at one point in the game, but then we gave it to him in the third quarter. Buffalo's coming. It didn't matter. No matter what you did, you were going to be three. You were going to have your seventh loss before you went to Spain. It didn't matter. The team. The reason why I say they don't because Baltimore is not even on the same level right now as Buffalo. They have Josh Allen. They have James Cook. They're more healthy, and they're going to be pissed after they lose to Kansas City. So for me, the Buffalo was going to come in angry. So for me, there wasn't a shock that they were without Tyreek Hill, with all the injuries you do have, and with Tua the way he's playing. Like the problem for me was this game tonight, whether the Boo Birds came out tonight, and what's hilarious about Ross, because I don't think he's going to fire anybody tomorrow, because I don't think he'll give me that joy. I really don't think he'll give me that joy. Does he really think that it's going to get better with Buffalo coming? If you think tonight was bad at 28-6, but Josh Allen's going to put a 50 burger on you. Like, it's not even going to be close.
There's the breaking news right there, Alex. Let us know what just happened.
Oh, no. It was just takeaways from the game. So
Damn it, Alex.
Hopefully for something.
Mute your phone.
Psych.
Unprofessional.
So I want to say, by the way, this is what bothers me about McDaniel. We rely on the leaders and captains to show the way and everyone else to tighten up. Sealer's lost. Tua's lost. Brooks is trying. That's it. Your two main leaders, though, Brooks is not supposed to be the leader. And I want to go over the stat, Bobby. I want to be very clear about the stat which pisses me off. This is the one stat that pissed me off tonight. Team stats. What? Okay?
What
For the
is it?
players. The leader.
Team stats.
The player stats. The leader in tackles tonight. Alex, who was the leader in tackles tonight?
In tackles?
Jordan Brooks.
Yeah. Nope, Jordan Brooks is third.
Dotson?
Second. Who was first?
Trader.
Dante frickin' Trader.
Oh, I got it. Whoa! Give me a cookie.
Ready
That
for
was a
this?
guess.
Ready for the list? Ready for the list for tackles? Ready for the list? Dante Trader, 13. Terrell Dotson, 9. Jordan Brooks, 8. Rasul Douglas, 6. Minka Fitzpatrick, 5. Those are your first 5 people. What does that? What don't you see there? No edge rusher. No defensive lineman. That's the problem with this defense. Is that all what they were doing tonight, keeping them at bay, was the blitzing and the support of the D-line. And Jalen Phillips, you should have seen that he was getting roasted on Twitter. People, the only person I think Lisa is the only person who still loves Jalen Phillips, because that play again, the Herbert one, now Lamar, he must have Vaseline on his hands because he's an Adonis, and when he gets ready for his bodybuilding competition, he rubs Vaseline all over his body because literally every time he touches a quarterback, he slips off. And then when he got one in garbage time, people started doing the clap. But I don't blame.
He's leading the league in almost sacks.
I don't even blame. By the way, I don't even blame. By the way, Tua had 240. By the way, the problem today also 40 passing because they gave up on the running game quickly in the third after the third quarter.
Yeah, they were down.
Rushes,
they were down.
20 rushes. But and by the way, Devon Achane did what he could. But like I said, this team is offensive focused. It's supposed to be an offensive team. The head coach is the offensive genius. You put a 5'8" running back against a 6'4" Swiss Army knife on a fourth down. I don't care if Tua has to read that, but Mike McDaniel called it. How many times did we rip him for giving Tyreek Hill those fades? Why is that even in your actual playbook? And did you see that? By the way, did you happen to realize, Alex, you're such a basketball aficionado, that Tua jumped?
Yes.
Tua did the fake jump like he missed the play. Bobby, what are we doing? We're 2-6, and we comes up with a play where Tua has to jump. Tua might fall and bang his head. Tua can't jump that high. Tua can't jump. and then and by the way, can I ask you a question? We're on the 3 yard line with 3rd and 17, and he's throwing the ball 2 yards behind Achan. It's like, what are you throwing the ball 2 yards behind Achan? Like, it was hilarious. The only play I was shocked by, the real shocking play, remember on the first drive, Bobby, or was it the first drive, or was it the second drive, where it was 3rd and 6, and he actually ran the ball with Ollie Gordon. He tried to, because he was going already halfway. We were down 7-3, and he already was going like we were playing 4th down territory already. That's the way Mike Daniel thinks. It's so poorly managed. The players are bad. I understand that. The team is structurally bad. But at one point, you need to start reassessing this team, because the difference is, and I want to give you guys the perspective from a fan base, and we're going to go, these missed calls and these miscues. If these calls and miscues happen against Buffalo next week and Mike McDaniel is not the coach, the fans will understand. Everyone in the media will understand, because they're preparing to adjust to see who's still viable for this team for next season. Right now, people are, whether it's Emmanuel Ocho, whether it's every single person on every single network, Mike McDaniel is holding the team back from making fundamental changes. Greer, too. The problem is Greer hides. Mike McDaniel is the face. And Mike McDaniel does not. By the way, he ran out of the stadium like he stole someone's candy. He ran out like he does every time. By the way, I've got to give class. Maybe there weren't enough fans to do it. If this was Philly, if this was a lot of other stadiums, they're throwing stuff on the field. There's a riot in the stadium. If this was a soccer game, there's a riot. This is insane. This is my problem. Is that he's the representative of this football team. Him and Tua Tagovailoa are the miscues, are the miscalls of Stephen Ross, because the term is there's no nothing as bad publicity. But this is really bad publicity. We're a laughing stock. That's the problem. We're an inside joke to everybody now. I said to my kids, tomorrow they want to wear their Dolphins stuff, which I probably go, but I don't want you to get laughed at school tomorrow. By all your friends who are Raven fans and Chief fans and Lions fans. I don't want them to be laughed at. That's what they've done. Like, think about this, Bobby. We have to, they even showed a sign today on the show, Alex. They showed the 72 perfect season. We're still living off the perfect season. That's what they're referencing. The 72, 72. Come on, 1972. That's what we're hoping for. Stephen Ross. Stephen Ross.
So I want to say,
Stephen Ross didn't have his first billion when we had the perfect season.
All right, time out.
He wasn't worth $1 million.
Now that the team is lost, because when I was asked about that recently, I said it really depends on what happens next. I expected a move, maybe like 1 or 2 moves, lower moves, maybe one big one, one low one. But that means trading off players, not gaining one. But that was if they won. If they lost, I could see them doing a bigger, maybe cutting off some pieces. And that probably, of course, we know Bradley Chubb, Jalen Wright. Like, if you have no plans for the guy, for the kid, just move him, trade him off, because you went into the game with 2 backs. I don't understand how that was what happened. Like, I wasn't on pregame, and shout out to Vincenza and Sammy and Eddie and Mark it was a good show. I really enjoyed listening to it. Sammy looked awesome. I think that should be his getup. I just love the whole getup. Dressed in something different every day. But now that the trade has gone down, now that they have lost, I could see a big trade going down. I could see a Jalen Wright getting moved, because you don't know, but that's not the big one. Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips. Again, Bradley Chubb at least looks like he's doing something. I've been happy with Bradley Chubb. I see people, I would rather Bradley Chubb get traded than Jalen Phillips. I'm the other end of it. I understand Bradley Chubb costs more money. That makes sense. But at least Bradley Chubb shows effort. He's throwing down offensive linemen. He's the one with the sacks. He's the one he's owning up to his contract. So, but I understand trading him because you want to get out of that deal and possibly get a draft pick. Jalen Phillips, he's on his final. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent. He's been injured 2 years in a row. He can't complete or make plays. Can you type any harder? That'd be great. Today when they asked him, let's go ahead and mute this for a second. When they asked Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips about the trade rumors after going 2-7, Bradley Chubb says, God is in complete control of my life. That's it. God is in complete control of my life, man. Jalen Phillips, on one hand, though, said, it's out of my control. I would love to stay here, but if I get traded, I get traded. Alex, what are your thoughts on possible who would you like to see? Like, who do you think is going to get traded, but who would you actually like to see get traded?
Well, before I even respond to that, my number one thing is notice. Now, one of them said, I believe in the culture here. I believe in this team. We want to see it through. I love playing here for the city. I love playing for the fans. I love this team. I love this organization. Nothing of that sort. I understand it's business. And Jordan Phillips, obviously, he's younger. It's more attractive to the people. He might command a more of a bigger return, but also he has an extension pending. So that also could be a deterring factor for certain teams. Their response seemed to be coming from a level of frustration and not asking out because, yeah, I mean, you're playing professional football in Miami, okay? You're living the life. So even if your team is not as successful, and I know some teams, real professionals, everybody likes to give the politically correct answer that, you know, I don't do this for the money. My team is struggling. As an athlete, it takes a toll on you. But it's way better to live in Miami and struggle in Miami than to live in Cleveland and struggle in Cleveland. So there's pros and cons here to these players. But the factor here is that the defense went from being such an off-season juggernaut prediction of the front seven and the fact that they're not producing at that level, yet they were improving as of late. It makes sense that they're going to move some people to have the younger guys get more reps because, like Evan said, this is now your season is turning into an evaluation period. You know, you can't continue just to play your vets if you're not going anywhere. Okay, I'm not talking about Minka Fitzpatrick. I'm not talking about the Tuas. I'm like this turns into a developmental year, and you have to evaluate who is going to be on your roster going forward because we might not understand it right now, but even with Tua's contract, this is still an attractive situation for a lot of coaches out there. There's a lot of young talent on the team, and they have a boatload of draft picks of assets. So this isn't a bad job for somebody that is willing to take it. And I know there's a few coaches that are vouching for it, realistically, and GMs biting at the opportunity. But my thing is, what would it take Ross to make a move? And I think today could be that. And even though, like you mentioned, Constanza, it wasn't truly all Mike McDaniel's fault, and he was actually doing pretty well in the first half. But I think he's going to take into account the way the team responded in the second half, because the fans, that's palpable. You know when a team is with their head coach. You know when a team is going to respond. And once you saw them come out in the second half, everybody in that stadium knew for sure the Dolphins were going to lose. And that says a lot because even at home here, you're not watching confidently. Like, I don't watch these games confidently and like, oh yeah, we could turn it around. I'm just waiting for the next mistake now. And it wasn't like that before. In the first few years of McDaniels, you weren't waiting for that mistake. You wanted him to go. For example, the way we criticized him today for going for it on 4th and 2 and that play call, like years ago, we would have been like, oh yeah, man, we're not going to kick a field goal. Let's go. Come on, keep attacking, be aggressive. But now you're like, why is he not taking the points? And that's when you start out here second guessing your coach, second guessing the organization. Yep. And the player's response says it. Like, look, if I'm here, I'm here. I mean, it was a politically professional response, but you can kind of see where it comes from. It's like, if I do get moved, I hope it's to a better situation. That's what I take from that. Because, you know.
And I think that's right on. It's, I don't know, dude. I expect, in regards of a change at the staff level, I don't expect any change because of Stephen Ross. I don't. Should there be a change? There absolutely should be a change. Like, let's be real. I mean, It's not McDaniel adjusting anymore. He is who he is. He tried Frank Smith on the sideline. It worked 1 week. It didn't work this week at all. You went back. You lost terribly to Cleveland. You got beat down by Cleveland. You had a good game against Atlanta. You got beat down by Baltimore, who had the same record as you, that's going through a mess.
Yeah.
Rusty Lamar or not. So it's like, this team is who they are. And so, yeah, you know what? And I look at McDaniel and I see him getting angry on the sidelines. And I'm going to tell you, man, I like it. I was like, damn, I love seeing that. Hold your guys accountable. First off, I don't know who the heck. I think Eric Studsville's the running back coach, I believe, if I remember correctly. Going off on Ollie Gordon after that bad call, and because Ollie slipped. It's like, first off, he's a jackass. But my thing, you want to get hard on your players now. It's a little too late, bro. Legitimately, it's a little too late. Those guys are not going to respond to you screaming and hollering or anything, and the faster that Stephen Ross realizes that, the faster it's going to get better. No, getting rid of them all is not going to – getting rid of McDaniel tomorrow and Greer tomorrow, if that's even possible, it's not going to change the fortunes of this football team. This team is who they are. Well, let's keep them. Let's keep these guys in place so we can continue to lose and blah, blah, blah. Look, you're going to lose either way. This team is not – yeah, maybe you risk having a spark with a new guy that players want to play and now they get all excited, But the reality is this team is who it is. They're not going to beat the Buffalo Bills of the world. They're not going to be – and I know I said, but what if they shock you? Maybe they do, but they're not going to beat the Buffalo Bills. They're not really going to get close enough. And McDaniel absolutely is a poser right now. Do I think he could be a good head coach in the future? I do. I think this is a great experience for him. But I think he's going to go, he'll get fired and he'll be a coordinator somewhere, maybe back in San Francisco, wait a couple years, and then go and then become a head coach, and he'll know better. He'll learn better. Tua is the problem. Tua is part of the problem. Tua is the problem because they still treat him as the franchise guy. They haven't made it known that he's not the franchise guy. Of course, he is the franchise guy until they tell him he's not longer the franchise guy. He's that guy who, is like, he carries himself like a leader, but he doesn't act like a leader. When you hear it's like, you know what I mean, Alex? Evan, he carries himself like a leader. He'll walk back there. Again, after the game, he's all happy when he won last week, and which is okay. I get it. It was a good game. He played a good game. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you're still 2-6. To me, the right answer would be there's still a lot of work to be done. This was their step in the right direction. We need to do better. Didn't. Talked high and mighty like you guys, they were going to turn the corner, which I understand, Alex, your point earlier. And I understand Evan's point about laughing at it, but I understand your point saying like after the Atlanta game, you're like, you had some hope, like, oh, wait a second. Maybe they figured this out. Everybody did. Everybody said they found the right formula. Everybody was saying they found the winning formula. But in reality, it wasn't always about the winning formula. This team could win games. This team has the talent to win games. Even if they're low, if they're not as talented as the other team, they still have the talent to sneak and win a game. They're that type of team. They're not superior talent, but they got the talent to win games against good teams. They don't have the structure. They don't have the foundation. They don't got the leaders. They don't have the leaders on the team. They don't have the leaders in the coaches, and they don't have the leaders in the front office. This team fundamentally and structurally by the foundation is cracked. And that's why they'll never be able to do what they're supposed to do. You look at the team like the Miami Heat, who the last couple seasons have struggled. They always get into the play-in and people want to criticize, but at least they're getting into the freaking play-in. At least teams don't want to play them in the play-in. We know how dangerous. And, you look at this roster this year and people are saying, and I don't want to strive with it. We'll keep that on East Texas Reports, but I'm just giving an example. You look at this roster, even though they lost tonight, you look, a lot of people before this season was like, oh, the Heat are going to suck. The Heat are going to this, and there's no way to get into the AC. There's no way. Charles Barkley was saying, oh, this guy hit a ceiling. This guy's this guy's that. Man, they got to go get a superstar. Yet they found a superstar type player with the way Jaquez has been playing. They found, they could look at what Bam Adebayo was doing tonight with 3-point shots in the corner. You're starting to see some growth. You see, every time this team thinks you took a step back, we always say, wait a second, maybe this could be the way. Man, if Miami's going to get to the playoffs, man, why do we say that about the Miami Heat when they obviously lack a superstar? It's because of the foundation of the team. Pat Riley, Mickey Harrison, the owner, Pat Riley, the president, Eric Spoelstra, the head coach, who will win Coach of the Year. I'm saying it right now. Book it. That's what the Dolphins don't have that. So you could sign Tyreek Hills of the world. You could have draft the Tuas who can't, whatever, as quarterback. You can do whatever you want. As long as your foundation of your team with Chris Greer leading the way is broken, they will not be consistently successful. And that's what sucks. So, yeah, Tua is a problem. He's part of the problem. Yeah, I know it's the crickets. It's a metaphor for my point. It's like, oh, we're not really out. Evans falling asleep. But Tua is for sure part of the problem. A big part of the problem, Ray. Because again, this is supposed to be your franchise quarterback. And he has spurts where you get very excited. You're like, damn, man, Tua's showing it. And then the second half, it falls apart. And ever since he got his deal, especially something this year, it's like a total regression off the field and on the field. But ever since he got his deal, it's more like he's had that insurance policy to be salty Tua. And now it seems like he's deflecting and he's trying to protect himself because now even his friends, not his friends, but supporters, prior supporters, are now turning and saying, we got to change. Could Miami win another game this season? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely they can. Mute him again. It's not Evan. It's Alex. It's his crickets. There's a Doral crickets out there. Don't worry. It's not Evan's not putting crickets as a sound effect. That would be Evan though. But where was I? Can the Dolphins win another game this year? Yes, they could. They could, because they have that type of team. But you mean Alex? Oh damn. But it won't. It's not going to change anything because they could have a great game one week and they'll be completely terrible the next. This is exactly what happened. Browns, disgusting, bad, terrible. Atlanta, holy crap. Damn, they played a complete game. How many years, Alex, have we said, man, we're looking for that one complete game? They had it. You go, wait a second. Alex says, wait, this team could beat Baltimore. Baltimore's for the taking. They're bad. They're this. And then you lay an egg on prime time. Unacceptable football, and them crickets doing more, amigo. But anyway, it's just it is what it is, and it sucks. McDaniel, do I expect a change right now? I don't. Just because there should be a change. I don't want that to be says that there is not a change coming. I think there should be a change, and trust me, I would love to see a change, even if it's just the head coach right now. There needs to be a change in Miami. Chris Greer obviously has to go. I don't expect that. I think I expect a trade before I expect a layoff. But who wouldn't want to wake up tomorrow morning and see Alex text me at 6 a.m. Central Time telling me that somebody got fired, or Evan calling me possibly at 6 o'clock in the morning, waking me up, and I see a bunch of missed calls because somebody got laid off. I wouldn't mind seeing that, to be honest, but I don't trust it. I don't believe it. Alex, let me just ask you for a quick. We get to the hour here. It's 12:30 Eastern time. Dolphins defense. We talked a lot about the offense tonight. The run again. Tua only 25 to 40, 261, an interception. Devon Achane 14 to 67. Ollie only 2 rushes for 6 yards, 82 yards for Jalen Waddle. We know that. But the defense today. What were your thoughts on Miami's defense today?
Well, like we touched upon before, in the first half, I thought they were gelling really well. They had multiple key stops that it kept Miami afloat realistically because, like we mentioned, the position that they got, and they almost had a complete stop in the first drive if it wasn't for that, obviously, for that touchdown pass to Andrews. But they stopped them on 3 consecutive runs. That's the part that generally bothers me. When the unit was struggling at the beginning. Now that unit is finally feeling cohesive, that unit is finally feeling productive, now we start having regressions in other areas. And that comment is very important, what they mentioned. I forgot who you said it was that mentioned this, but it's very difficult when they give the ball back and that they can't produce on their end, because the number one thing, like, in baseball is similar in regards to that, but it's because it's the same player playing both offense and defense. hitting and fielding. In basketball, it's a two-way sport as well. Football, you have time to stop, and obviously it's a way more physical sport. But you have time, and you got time to catch your breath. You got time to mentally prepare yourself for the next drive. And as a defense, it's very frustrating and flattening that you just get a stop for your team. You go out, you sit down, and before you know it, you got to go right back and defend again because it was a mistake. There was a miscue. You couldn't elongate the drive because of the poor management. So defensively, I thought we were turning the corner. I really did, and I do believe the defense will continue to improve as the season goes on. I'm not afraid of that area of this team. I actually believe with the proper development, with the proper reps, the defense will slowly and surely get better as the year go on, and then it will kind of like move on over and will kind of overlap for next year because it's a lot of young pieces, a lot of people that they've drafted that you have to see what they're capable of doing. But it's just a complete letdown for them, man. That first half, they played great defense, in my opinion.
Evan, your thoughts on the defense quickly, sir?
Defense is back to the. I think they're back to the point where they were when Flores left. Where you remember there were those rumors of people were hating on Tua and they were pissed off that Flores was fired and such. That the defense quit. When the offense doesn't go, the defense quit in the third quarter, and that's what always happens. The defense, the Dolphins have never outside the Falcons game. The offense has never given the defense a reason to protect the lead. They're always trying to protect the deficit so the Dolphins can try and come back. But what did we say on the pregame show? The moment the Dolphins fall behind, they're done. If they fall behind, they're done because they don't know how to come back. Because even when they do come back, it doesn't work. And this isn't all we've been saying it forever. This is an offense built team. The defense is the secondary of this team, and for some reason they continue to shoot themselves in the foot. And by the way, and I think this was the comment of the night that I had the best laugh. There's a guy on Twitter who I love, who I follow. His name is MTL Dolphin. He's watching just in the background. We were just commenting together. He said, "What was the bigger heist? The Louvre or Tua's contract? What was the bigger heist?" But even top of that, well, the thing that upsets me the most right now, Stephen Ross has stolen so much of people's money. They built this season. They were supposed to be the show Under the Sun. One episode. It failed after. The fact that you couldn't do more than one episode because how pathetic this team is, and you don't want to show how pathetic this team is, this would have been the perfect year of Hard Knocks. Like, come on. This is the year they had to have Hard Knocks, right? It's insane. So he has stolen, and I think I guarantee you, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe someone can confirm. Did they send out the season ticket notices Monday morning for the repeat? Maybe they would get people with a hopium on Monday morning after they beat the Falcons. The fact that people, by the way, at this point, this is your mini buy. This is your mini buy because you're going to be 2-8 going to Spain. So then you'll fire him then. So do you want? So basically, what Stephen Ross wants. This is how embarrassing that he wants to make his franchise. People continue to treat us like we're doormats. You want us to now, the Dolphins to now make fun of your team, and all of media and the talking heads are going to make fun of you for the next 10 days. Then Josh Allen's going to come in and put a 50 burger on you. Then the international community is going to talk about the Miami Dolphins for a week and how bad the football game is in Spain. You're going to get embarrassed on a global stage. Then you're going to fire him. And then you're going to fire Greer. What are we waiting for? They're not going to do it. I actually think he's choosing friendship. And what's bothering me about this is, if someone actually said this, he gave Greer and McDaniel extensions. So you're okay with spending money, signing bonuses for failed players over and over again, you have to pay out 20, 30, 40, $50 million, but you're worried about paying Mike McDaniel $20 million, or you're over 5 years? This is $5 million to you is 5 cents to me. Like it's a lot of money to you. Chris Greer, this is not a lot of money. You're worth 13. This team is worth $11 billion. You're worth like 13, 14 billion dollars, and you're 80 something years old. Like, don't you? This is what bothers me. He's 85 years old. Does he not want to see a winner before he actually croaks? The man is literally putting this team into the ground. Like, was his life? Like, I miss Wayne Huizinga. Like, as bad as this sounds, and we're going to talk about this on Monday, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
This is Jeffrey Loria territory. This is like this is bad. Jeffrey Loria at least won something. This is insane. This is not normal. Like, how do you actually go to a game, put on binoculars, see that the fans are leaving the building, they're wearing paper bags, there weren't Halloween costumes, and there are people continuing to travel for your team. This is what Buffalo's coming. If you think this was bad, it's going to get worse over the next 2 weeks. If he wants a public relations win, if he wants the team to be considered as a positive, he has to fire them, because people are going to understand why they're losing. They're redeveloping. They're going to trade some of their assets. They're rebuilding for the 26th season. They're rebuilding for the draft. The fact that we heard this week that there was the excuse that they think they can still make the playoffs, they couldn't make the wild card if they tried. They can't win the division. Baltimore had something to play for tonight. The Miami Dolphins didn't. Who are you trying to save? And when Mike McDaniel, it's the greatest moment, I think my mother even called it, when he looked up to the sky.
Yeah.
And Omar Kelly, who I don't love some of his stuff because he defends Tua to the hilt, he said, I think Mike McDaniel has run out of plays. He's run. It's a bit when you get to that, when you get to the manual and you still haven't fixed the problem, but you don't have any more. He doesn't have ChatGPT on his play call sheet. He's ChatGPT'd himself out of it. The server's burnt. It's like I don't understand. Like, this is at the point where I just understand. Like, if this was a business, right? If this was a building, you would tear down the building. Why are you taking a franchise that's worth $10 billion and flushing it completely down the toilet? He's devaluing his own team. Like, I don't understand. Like, we're running through. We're laughed at. It's hilarious. It's like people are making, like, we're in the level of the Jets. Like, you thinking, like, was he comfortable being in Woody Johnson territory? like we're now equivalent to the Jets. The Jets have the longest playoff win, the largest playoff appearance drought. We have the longest playoff drought. Like, Bobby, we're in Russ Morgan territory. We're in Fireman Frank territory. We're like, what are we doing here exactly? We're with the Jets. Like, is that is that something that we look forward to, Ross? Like, look at your stadium today. Your quarterback said he could not follow the cadences because there were more fans of the other team in South Florida, a destination. Your fans want to. It's beautiful there at night. You know how gorgeous, by the way. It's beautiful to go to a football game at their night. The look, the style, what he's done with the stadium. It's beautiful. But nothing's going to change because Mike, he's choosing loyalty over winning. I said this a couple weeks ago. Stephen Ross could not care less if he wins a football game at this point. I think he doesn't. I think he just wants to put money in his pocket because he looked like he was bird watching tonight with his binoculars and talking to Tom Garfunkel's son. Like Dan Marino, get rid of all of them. But I don't know who's putting this in his ear because who's the football? Like, this is what bothers me. And I want to ask you both: who is the football person who's telling him what to do? Because it's not Garfunkel's not a football person.
No.
So it has to be Greer has been there for 25 years. Who's the independent? Marino, I think, just doesn't care. So who is the football person who's going to him and saying, these guys are doing a good job, they're going to turn this around? You can't blame this on Tyreek Hill because you were bad with Tyreek Hill. So Teron Armstead ripping your team. Jalen Ramsey ripping your team. What did you accept? For me, I watch these games with such apathy because I don't care I want them to win, but if they don't win, it just reaffirms what I've already predicted. I'm never usually right, but I called this. Bobby said to me, he's a rookie head coach. Give him time. He's a rookie head coach. Give him time. Go look at the timeline of Brian Flores, and I'm not comparing Brian Flores. Brian Flores gradually got better as a coach. Gradually got better as a coach. Mike McDaniel has systematically, from I don't care about the record, his best year was his first year. His second best year was his second best year was his second. He's permanently gotten worse every single year, not record wise, coaching wise. They actually have gotten actually fundamentally worse. You teach us in volleyball, you teach us in basketball. The fundamentals are the key to anything. In hockey, if you don't know how to skate, you're never going to win. If you don't, by the way, if you, in basketball, if you can't dribble, it doesn't matter how well you can shoot because you need to at least get to the basket. It's a fundamental. You have to know how to dribble and how to catch a ball before you shoot the ball. When you go on a football field, you have to know where to stand. You have to know what intentional grounding is. Like you have to know that at 5'8". Like, by the way, it's like putting Muggsy Bogues next to Victor Wembanyama. That's what he did. He put Devon Achane lined up against Kyle Hamilton. Mike McDaniel didn't say timeout. And by the way, come on, guys. First drive, first third down, Bobby. First drive, first third down, timeout. Third play of the game. They couldn't get the play in. Third play. They couldn't get the play in. It was 30 seconds into the game. They couldn't get the play, and they wasted that timeout. They needed that timeout at the half when they were going downfield, and Tua couldn't throw. See what? When he threw the ball, by the way, what's Tua doing with 18 seconds left throwing it to the middle of the field? Like, conceptually, it does not.
I got me for a second. Okay.
In here, by the way, is coffee with my favorite leche. All I gotta say is, I love the pregame. I love coming on postgame. This game did not go the way I wanted.
No,
but it went as I expected.
I will just say, and I don't want to carry it on. I just know it's going to happen though, because I just want to say
breaking news.
No, because I know who I wanted. Before I know what type of coach I wanted before McDaniel. But just to come to McDaniel's defense for a second, because when Flores was hired, he had that reset. We had low expectations with the Dolphins. We were trading everybody off. We were tanking. We were doing that, and then he did really good, and he got Tua and whatever, and then it kind of fell off. With McDaniel, he didn't have that opportunity. He was not the right coach for this team because they had high expectations for the team. He was a rookie coach who's never done it before. Obviously he was very energetic. His personality won them over. He said, "Hey, I could work with Tua. I could do this." He did. He came in. You could see right away with getting Tua to happy, and Tua came in energized. They go and they get Tyreek Hill. They go and trade for Jalen Ramsey. They got signed Armstead. Holy crap! Wait a second. What's going to happen? Expectations skyrocket. Instead of saying, "Hey, we're a bad team. We got to give this guy time. We got to grow. Let him build this team. Let him get his own quarterback. Let him draft his own guys. Let's build this chemistry." No, we keep the same general manager. Let's keep the same quarterback because you had the quarterback for 3 to 4 years or whatever it was. So it makes sense to say, "Hey, can you work with our guy who we drafted?" Yes, I could do that. Obviously, it fell off a cliff, But the reason why McDaniel failed was because the Dolphins, Stephen Ross, Chris Greer set McDaniel up for failure. Let's just be real, okay? Yeah, I told you because you're like that for everything. It takes you 2 minutes and you're giving up on something. So yeah, of course I was saying, give him a chance, let him do it. He's a rookie coach, let him build it. But let's be real about expectations here. The fan base, the Dolphins gave McDaniel, his expectations were way too high to be the coach of that football team. So you could sit there and say, "Oh, he's a terrible coach. He's a terrible this." He was set up for failure. Let's just be real. He should be fired. He shouldn't be the coach. He's a coordinator posing as a head coach, but that's on the Miami Dolphins. They wanted that. They should have had this team totally gutted and start from scratch. They didn't do that. That's the type of coach. He could do that because then the young players are gelling to him. The players who are third stringers, second stringers, who you sign off for agency and you're trying to rebuild, then they gel to their coach because they know he's a rookie coach. They're driving with him, whatever. No, what Miami did was like, hey, you got to work with this quarterback. He can't stay healthy. He's an average quarterback. He could play really good. I could work with that guy. He's young enough. He did. And guess what? He did bring out the best in Tua. Tua did have a career year with all those guys. His energy was up. He was, besides the slump shoulder Tua, he became salty Tua, and everybody loved it. It worked. Then it started to fall because guess what? You have the Jalen Ramsey of the world. They don't respect somebody like McDaniel. You got the Terron Armsteads, who are the veterans or whatever. They didn't set up McDaniel for success. So, yes, does McDaniel deserve to be fired? He absolutely does. He has to answer for this mess. But let's not pretend the reason why the Dolphins are a fucking laughingstock, forgive me, a laughingstock is because of Mike McDaniel. They're a laughingstock because you still have Chris Greer in there. You still have Tua Tagovailoa as your quarterback, and you still have Stephen Ross as your owner. And Ross ain't changing. I broke my camera. So, decaf,
Bobby, decaf.
I haven't even had coffee yet.
Did you actually break your webcam?
No, I froze it. I could just restart it. But we're about to end anyway.
Standing very still. You're very talented, man. You're not even breathing. You're taking this mannequin challenge real.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty.
By the way, what's the fuck reference we kind of do with the Dolphins?
Daniel, I love that. Daniel was gone the whole time. It was that moment he had to come in.
By the way, I will say though, I just want to say something. The one thing I will tell you is this adversity is opportunity nonsense has been an utter failure on Mike McDaniel. But every time they come out of the half, Alex, I want to ask you, every time. Going back to remember the freezing cold game in Kansas City?
Yeah.
Where he was throwing the ball in the fourth coldest game ever. Mm-hmm. And he said we need to adjust and we have to establish the run. And then on the first 3 plays of the game, of that half, he threw the ball. Like, he did it again tonight. Like, that's my frustration is that he doesn't read the room. And this is what's hilarious about it. Is, like I said, Mike McDaniel was the coach of 2019. Brian Flores was the coach of 2022. They hired the wrong coach at the wrong time. But at the same time, I don't begrudge Mike McDaniel. The problem is that he's not willing to change who he is, right? So as long as he's not willing to change who he is, he's not the right person for this team. Because there was the expectation that, they're going to be able to accomplish something. I guarantee he had the mindset, the opposite of Flores, where you're supposed to lose. He was, even with the team he had this year, Stephen Ross basically said to Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel, you have to win with less. Yeah. And the problem I'm having with Ross is that he said no status quo. Well, this is status quo, and then there's 5,000 pounds of shit, and then there's this is where they're at. Like, they're 2-7. They're 2-7. Like, and this is, and they could potentially be 7-2. You never know. But with a different head coach, like, I got to experience this. I was as a Canadians fan. There was a coach who was fired. There was a coach, we were doing okay, but a coach got fired. The coach got fired, and they fired the coach to go get the coach that they knew would be better for the team at the time, because the guy was the hottest commodity. Last year, wasn't going right? Go get Vrabel. When Jim Harbaugh was in Michigan and the team was losing playoff games, go get your guy. What I want the Stephen Ross of 2000 when Sperano was there. Go cheat from. Go get your guy. You know he's not your guy. Like, stop being loyal to your friends. This is a football team. This is a business.
Who are you talking about now?
I'm talking about the fact that Ross is literally treating this like it's not a business. He's not trying to win. The whole concept of McDaniel is his friendship. And I said, Mike,
yeah, but you're looking at the wrong thing though. You keep saying McDaniel.
No,
we could have got. Listen, we could have got Vrabel, but it ain't gonna matter. You could have fired McDaniel and go get somebody else. You still Chris Greer as your GM.
You know what pissed me off the most tonight was Brett. Brett actually said to me, "Keep McDaniel, tear it down, and just get rid of Greer and let McDaniel restart." I go, "Are you insane? You literally want to do another half measure? Are you kidding? The fan base won't accept that. The fan base needs scorched. By the way, if they only fire one, they still won't be happy. You have to go scorched earth. The problem is, how do you let Mike McDaniel? The different. By the way, they're not going to fire anybody because he has to fire them tomorrow and let Marvin Allen make trades, or they're not getting rid of anybody because Chris Greer is not going to get rid of anybody. And by the way, if he lets Chris Greer get rid of these people, whether it's Jalen Wright, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Greer's here tomorrow. Greer's here next year. Daniel's here next year. And he's going to have an empty stadium. Because the fact of the matter is that I wish every game was a home game now. I wish we had a stretch of home games. We have two. We have one more, and then we go to Spain. And then I think the Saints come to us, I believe. But it's a joke. This right now, as an overall concept, is when I need a laugh, I watch Dolphin games. I watch Dolphin games. I don't watch Seinfeld. I don't watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. I watch Miami Dolphins play.
This I agree with. This right here, with Brett's take. No. This is absolutely true and absolutely fair because you said McDaniel. Oh, the Dolphins does this and this and this, and they suck. Well, what's the common denominator? Let's not pretend they just started sucking because of
Should be
McDaniel.
fired. I've never said that.
No, but again, Greer's the common denominator. I can understand. Fire Greer first and let the new general manager talk with McDaniel, see where his head is, and make that decision. If he says, oh, you know what, we can't work with him, then if he says, you know what, I can work with McDaniel. Let me go get the quarterback that he wants. Let me strip these guys out and let's do it. Then that might be able to work. But I agree that the GM should decide because you fire McDaniel, you keep Greer, and then you decide to let Greer go, or Greer gets another GM, another coach, then it's a joke. Greer's the common denominator. Greer should be fired before anybody.
Yes,
before anyone.
Yes, but the problem for me is Mike McDaniel the fan base is already turned on him. So
if the Dolphins fired Chris Greer tomorrow and McDaniel stayed as head coach, the fan base would be ecstatic because it's the end. The Wicked Witch is dead. They'd be walking down the yellow brick road in South Beach on Dan Marino Boulevard saying, the Wicked Witch is dead. Except for Evan and Cannon going, Daniel's still here. It's like,
because
come on.
What's going to happen is then they'll put Marvin Allen in Chris Greer's role because they won't find a GM tomorrow morning. Someone's going to have to make the trades. And then that person's going to be sort of tied to him. Remember, this is clear as day. This is not false advertising. Chris Greer did not give Mike McDaniel the extension. Stephen Ross gave Mike McDaniel the extension. Stephen Ross is I'm convinced right now that Brian Flores was Chris Greer's person and Mike McDaniel was Stephen Ross's because he's cool and quirky. I know that I would want Chris Greer fired. I'll be happy if Chris Greer is fired. The problem I have is the player, for example, right now, Tua, bench him for a game. You have nothing to lose. I mean,
once you bench him, you can't just bring him back.
Oh yes,
once you do it, you can't
do that.
You can't do it. That would be McDaniel. McDaniel did that. You can't turn back.
But the fans have turned on Tua too. And the reason I want to go back to, you made a comment with me before that I didn't agree with. The reason why I say you have to cut Tua is no team. You have to get rid of the stench. One bad apple spoils the bunch. You cannot go into next season, new head coach, and Tua is not your starter, but he's your 50. The Kirk Cousins situation, Kirk Cousins has not done in the media what Tua's done. He's not gone to the podium. He was not a top draft pick. He started as a backup. Then he did okay in Minnesota, and then with J.J. McCarthy, he got moved on to Atlanta, and it didn't work out. But he's not Tua Tagovailoa, tanked for Tua, picked fifth in the draft. He's not a top draft pick. It's not the same thing as Tua. Tua cannot be sitting on that bench next year with a new head coach. So if Tua's here, like I'm telling you right now, if people think that Tua's going to be on this roster next year, Chris Greer is the GM, Mike McDaniel's the coach. All three need to be gone. I'm telling you, it's either going to be all three or none. It's not 2026 is going to start with Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, and Tua, or all three will be gone. Because no way, no how can one. If we fire McDaniel, we fire Greer, and a new GM
trades or cuts Tua, and they get that penalty on their cap hit, then they're going to be just as a joke as the guys that they're taking.
Why? What's different with Denver? Denver had a 75.
I don't give a crap about Denver. I don't give a shit about Denver. Why are we talking about Denver? We're talking about the Dolphins. The Dolphins are already in a cap mess. You got to get rid of Tyreek Hill. Why are you going to get rid of Tua when it's going to kill you in the cap? It makes so. Why are you going to take? And first of all, we're talking about we don't have a backup quarterback
here, right? He doesn't have. There's no numbers against the cap.
First of all, why, if we're already talking about this year that we don't have a backup quarterback, why would we get rid of a veteran quarterback? You go ahead and you fire you fire me. You draft the QB.
Tyreek before I kept Tua.
He's just giving the comparison of Denver because Denver, once they cut Wilson, they ate up that cap because they were playing Bo Nix as a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, we're not getting Sean Payton, and we don't have a rookie guy set. And
we tried.
And the rookie quarterback was there. That's why you get your rookie quarterback. You let the veteran guy sit back there or start. You see how he does with the new guy. That way he could build up his trade value and trade him the year after, and it's less of a hit. But then you have Tua. Then you can trade. Then you have your rookie guy back there. You're not pushing him. You let him push Tua. Let them compete. It doesn't make any sense for a new regime to say, okay, we're going to go ahead and just cut trade Tua because we just don't want him on the roster. Unless he is with Tyreek Hill's track record, and you still keep Tyreek Hill with that track record. Unless he has that track record, it would be idiotic to get rid of Tua. Idiotic. It would not make that. If a GM did that, I would be like, we can't do it. The Dolphins will never be good because if they're that stupid to get rid of Tua and let that cap hit really kill their team with a new regime, then what the hell are we doing? We got to wait for Stephen Ross to be dead because he's making terrible decisions. You don't say, yeah, let's go ahead and cut him because we just signed this massive deal. You wait a year, you trade him when the hit doesn't hurt.
The reason why I say I don't care what the cap hit is for that 1 year, the reason I'm saying it is, and Alex, you can tell me if you agree or disagree. Unlike Russell Wilson, they did it. He's too much of a diva. He's too much of a.
Russell Wilson is not a diva.
That quarterback.
Russell Wilson is not a diva.
No, he is. That's why they did it. Kirk Cousins isn't. My point is, Kirk Cousins isn't. Tua Tagovailoa will eat up.
Where did Kirk Cousins come from?
Because Kirk Cousins is leaving him on the cap. What I'm saying is that you can.
He's comparing the situation in Atlanta.
I'm making the point because Tua Tagovailoa, Kirk Cousins can be quiet and sit on the bench. Tua Tagovailoa is too much of a diva and too much of a moron. He will suffocate that quarterback group.
But also Kirk is 36 years old, 37 years old. He's already a veteran.
Exactly.
That's different.
Tua Tagovailoa. If I had a choice tomorrow to keep Tyreek Hill next year and pay that $40 or $50 million, $60 or $36 million hit, or keep Tua, I don't care. I'll keep Tyreek. I know Tua needs to. If you keep McDaniel, Tua's here. If Greer's here, Tua's here. That's their guy. But if I have a choice next year, I don't keep Tyreek. Get rid of Tua, please. Flush him down the toilet. He's ridiculous. He's a turd when it comes to this team. Like Bobby, it's like walking into a room and you have to be stuck with the person who got the most. Picture your Fernando Mendoza. Okay, Fernando Mendoza. By the way, he's a diva now because he wore the cape. After he won his second game with his 4 touchdowns.
It was a towel.
It was a cape.
I thought the same thing too, but it was a towel.
It was a cape. But Bobby, imagine imagine you're Fernando Mendoza or you're John Mateer or you're Lenaro Sellers, and you walk in next year to the quarterback room. You are now going to be the development quarterback, and you have to work with Tua Tagovailoa. Goodbye. Why? Like, why?
Why would a rookie say goodbye?
No. Meaning that goodbye to this team. This team will be a cancer. The team will be worse than next year. That quarterback won't develop. Because Tua is not Ryan Fitzpatrick in 2020.
He doesn't need to be Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No,
he just needs to be there for a year.
It's the emotional toll on the football team. All people are going to talk about you. They're not going to. Also, by the way, they will not be able to get a head coach, the one that you want, the veteran or the experienced guy you want, with Tua Tagovailoa on this team. You want to go get a veteran guy, they will not keep Tua Tagovailoa on this team. The same way you said when the person came in, they tried to keep Greer. Why should they be forced to keep Josh Boyer? You should never have to saddle a coach or a new development with anybody. If you have to
You're
take him
not.
for a year,
You're not. You're not. He's your.
Tua-
You can make him your backup. You could draft your quarterback and like
Tua on the bench, the whole game will be Tua. What's Tua look like?
No,
Is Tua
only
wearing
for
sunglasses?
you. Only for you. Every time
No,
they,
Alex agrees with
you're
me.
like,
Alex
you see
agrees
Tua on
with
the
me.
sideline. Like, come on.
Oh my god!
Come on.
Omar Kelly, Big O.
No, I don't read any of those guys. I don't read any of those guys. So
No.
you do. You might be on your phone. Look, I don't give a shit about
No,
what they.
but even
I don't care about what's on the field.
But I don't care. Even Kevin Harlan, they're going to come to these games and say, "Oh, starting quarterback today is Fernando Mendoza." But what's Tua doing on the bench? Is he wearing sunglasses?
He
Does
could wear
have these
sunglasses.
dreadlocks?
He could be singing karaoke on the bench. He could be playing poker or whatever the hell on the bench. I don't give a damn. He's the backup quarterback. I care about what's on the field. And if he does good enough in preseason to start the game, you let him start the game. That I don't care. But you don't go and say, okay, we're going to go with Fernando Mendoza or Lenora Sellers next year, and our backup quarterback's going to be Mike White. What?
Yeah, no.
You go in the next season, you go, hey, you know what?
I'm not
Hey,
saying
man,
that.
this guy start well. The Dolphins have shown they can't sign a backup quarterback. So why are we going to just go ahead and
Give
get rid
credit
of
to
him?
Mike McDaniel. Do you know who decided to? You know who said they could reinvent Zach Wilson? Do you know who chose Zach Wilson? Mike
Zach
McDaniel.
Wilson hasn't played, so I don't know. I have to see him
No,
play.
but you know who
before
paid?
hating on him,
No,
so.
but the quarterback. When you
In
ask,
Dolphins
look at his
uniform.
press conferences. He actually said he believes he could develop Zach Wilson. He chose Zach Wilson, the third string quarterback for the Denver Broncos, when there was Gardner Minshew out there. There were a lot of other options out there who played actual backup quarterback last year, and he chose. Could have got Joe Flacco, whatever you wanted. He chose Zach Wilson.
Exactly. So you see that? You see how that works? So instead of doing that with the next owner, the next player, next coach, or next GM, let's hope they're smart enough to say, you know what? No, we got a guy who could start in this league. He started in this league. He's found success in this league on the regular season. Let's go ahead and keep him for 1 year because it's going to kill us in the cap situation. Let's keep him for 1 year. Let's draft our guy. Let's draft our guy. And that way, hey, if Tua says, we're going to go ahead and start Tua, we'll start him for a number until he starts to crap himself. But if he does good enough, let's trade him. Then we get a draft pick. It makes more sense to do that than just cut him outright. And because your team has to be stronger than one guy. If one guy who doesn't have that much of an impact on the team anyway is really become tearing your team, which Tua doesn't.
I have the solution.
Uh-huh.
Tell someone write a letter to Stephen Ross and say, "Dear Stephen Ross, the only way this team will be successful with Tua Tagovailoa is if you build a roof on the stadium. Because Tua in a dome plays well, usually.
Yeah.
Put in a dome. If you put him in a dome, he'll play better. That's
maybe
one
just
option.
maybe. Maybe just maybe.
By
I
the
would
way,
love to see the
I
dome,
want to be very clear. I have defended Tua. His jersey's back there. My issue is as Sammy has said, the man's honest. The man literally says one moment, I can't play quarterback in my own stadium because the fans of the other team are too loud. What's your excuse on the road? What was your excuse on Sunday? You were playing the Falcons. They were loud. What's your excuse? I can't see over my receivers. People with potato chips. I don't throw interceptions and punches, but I'm now the league leader in interceptions with 11 this season. The man literally has verbal diarrhea. The man has literal verbal diarrhea. It's insane. Like, the man literally is, I don't know what's wrong with him. He literally speaks Mike McDaniel. He speaks stupidity. They speak a language of pure, like, if anybody.
I was wondering who that was. Now I know who this is. Don't do it. Harrison and Andy, you guys better stop it. Don't do it. I will tell the story live on air. I'll do it. Don't push it.
At this point, it will
By the
be
way,
told.
I actually blame Sammy.
I'll do it.
By the way, you know who I blame for this debacle? Sammy, because he said Tua is honest, and now because he said Tua was never honest, never lies, Tua now continues to be honest. It continues to put his foot in his mouth, and it's hilarious. Like, Bobby, have you ever? Tell me, you've been a big sports fan. Name me the last time you've seen an athlete talk the way this man talks and say things you're not supposed to say, and not realize that what he's saying, if he actually repeats himself, it's like McDaniel. He says something, and by the time he answers the question, you don't know what he was talking about. Like, they literally are whoever the PR. They need to fire the PR person, because the person who lets these people talk
And what
They should
kills
come up-
McDaniels
They
is
need to
the
come out with teleprompters. They need to come out with teleprompters. They need to come out with teleprompters.
if
Alex,
you would just
know
stay
the story,
quiet.
right? I told you the story.
Yeah.
Okay. And that way Harrison knows you know the story.
Oh, Harrison knows he's well aware. All right.
Smells
Littlefoot.
like Bigfoot's.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But Evan, one thing is like if McDaniel would knock off the that those is what kills you. Like if you would just stay quiet and be processing it and then get a response, like it always seems like he's trying to find the perfect words to say, and they never come out sometimes. And then it just comes out as like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And he knows what he's talking about. He knows the message he's trying to relay, but he just gets stuck in the communication part.
It looks.
Can we just apologize? Can we apologize to Devon Achan? The poor guy. Once again, I'm just telling you. By the way, I don't.
He's
by the
making
way,
great money. He's
He's
know,
making
by the way,
good
he'll
money.
be
He's on his
fine.
rookie
No,
deal.
by
He's
the way,
fine.
He'll be
by
fine.
the way, I think Jason Sanders doesn't want to come back. Why would he want to come back to this crap show?
I think he's faking the injury.
I think he's faking the injury. It's a little like he's pulling a Will Fuller. He's pulling a Will Fuller.
I'm in a glass box of emotions. Don't act like you're not impressed.
Honestly,
Sort of a big deal.
by the way,
That's what Harrison said before. Like,
but let me
smells
just
like
be very
Bigfoot's.
clear. Let me just be very clear about something. I said I to people right now, if I were to blame McDaniel, I'd give McDaniel 25% of the blame. I'd give Chris Greer 25% of the blame, but it all falls on Ross. Because you've never scorched earth. You've never scorched earth.
He has
You
to
have
do
the
that
longest
for sure.
playoff drought,
Wipe it out.
playoff win drought, and you literally, since you own your team, you're making Wayne Huizinga. You're like you look at what Viola's are doing. Look what they've done with the Heat.
It's
like
I think
what are you? You're the. By the way, that's the thing about Ross. He has more money than Viola,
Yeah.
Adelson,
yeah.
than all the owners in
Then
Florida
everybody
combined.
combined.
He could own the Marlins. He
Mhm.
can own the Panthers. He can own the Heat, and he can still own the Dolphins. That's how rich this man is, and he literally is the richest owner he's probably the richest man one of the richest men in Florida in terms of ownership. And then he literally is the dumbest. He's the dumbest. Like he cannot see the forest for the trees. He
needs to make a move, and he's at the level where he needs to make a move where I hire a president or a vice president of football operations. Like that's what he needs to do. He needs to shake the whole thing.
Yeah.
So and it has the looks of it could be hiring a vice president of football operations where it's a veteran coach. I know Gruden is dying for the job because Gruden has analyzed the Dolphins left and right. He likes what he sees.
Harrison, I feel attacked.
By the way, this is a song we should do, Bobby. This should be your new theme song, okay? Because he mentioned Garfunkel. I don't want to insult him, but this is it. Hello, we should go see Stephen Ross. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again because the vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the visions that planted in my brain still remains. From you, Stephen Ross, with the sounds of silence. Literally, that should be Stephen Ross's theme song. The sounds of silence, because the man does nothing. When's the last time he had a press conference? Like literally, in the rest of the streams, I walk alone. Narrow streets of color. Like you could just the song was written, so that I don't understand. Like the blind leading the blind. It literally is laughable. I feel so bad for all these fans, Bobby, that spent all this hard-earned money on season tickets.
Well, let's hope. Let's. I know we don't believe it's going to happen, but let's hope that.
Guys, I long for
let's hope that it
2019.
changes.
I long for 2019. 2019, there was actually something that we could build up to. Now it's. By the way, I actually think one of the biggest mistakes for Mike McDaniel that actually happened, because they were still in that, was the accelerated jump of Tyreek Hill. If they didn't get Tyreek Hill, they didn't get Teron Armstead. Like when they jumped that 1 year and got all those players, they did that in Montreal. Like the Canadians, I'm just where I know we're on the show. In 2009, where they had all this cap space, and they went to get all these players from other teams versus slowly building. Now we're rebuilding, and the team is really, really, really good. And you have to build through the draft. You have to develop your players. You have to get young pieces. We're old now. We're old. We're not organized. It's hell. That's why for me, 2020 season, 2026 is an aberration for me. I'm looking forward to 2027, 2028. And heck, maybe if you build your team properly, maybe if you don't even go get a quarterback, and let's say you develop, let's say, do what you did before with Fitzpatrick and build it up. In 2027, in 2028, Lamar Jackson, a Miami boy, is no more franchise tag. He's a free agent. He can go wherever he wants, whenever he wants.
And now you said you criticize Ross, but Ross wanted Lamar Jackson. That was Ross's pick, and he was, which to me, right there at that moment, I realized, and I see Lamar Jackson develop. It's like I will fire whoever convinced me otherwise. He cares. Yeah, he cares. Ross cares.
No,
He wants to.
I know he cares. I'm saying it in jest. I'm saying,
for sure.
He cares. He wants him to win. But right now, what the fan base is taking from his reaction, because he put out that statement. The problem is, had he not put out the statement, we wouldn't be doing this. But every week, someone puts out that statement that status quo will not be accepted. This is not status quo. This is status quo.
Yeah, but for him, it might be end of season firing. That's status quo. Let me look at the final product and whatever. I agree with you though, but I also agree too. Like I understand. First off, Ross is not going anywhere, and his daughter will take over after. We can hope that his daughter could be like Carly Israel in Indianapolis. I'm a big fan of her, but again, we can hope. But right now, he is the owner, and you got to give him credit where credit's due. You know, we know he cares. We know he's put a lot of money into this football. He's put a lot of money into this organization and everything else around it. Just again, like Evan says, loyalty is his flaw. I mean, he just stays with guys. He just wants us. But it's true. He wanted Lamar. He wanted Jim Harbaugh. He wanted Brady. He wanted Sean Payton. You know, he wanted all those guys. And again, why didn't he get him? He just made the wrong decision. And I think it's really the people around him. And that's where that whole falls in line with Evan saying it's the loyalty thing. You know, he has to hire one guy. He made the right decision in regards to the idea of when he became the owner of the team. Let me bring in a Carl Peterson. Remember that? We brought in Carl Peterson, and he said he's going to take over the organization in regards of being the leader. And then that was the right idea. Maybe not the guy, even though Carl Peterson did great with Kansas City, and I didn't hate it. But that was the right idea. You hire a guy, let him run everything. Let him go get this coach. Let him go this. And when you fire them, you got to fire them all. You don't go, okay, Carl Peterson's is going to step down. We're going to keep this GM. We're going to keep this coach. Now we're going to fire the coach. We're going to keep the GM. We're going to fire the GM. We're going to keep the coach. No, wipe it out and start from the beginning. We're almost at 2 hours in. It's 1:15 in the morning. It's 12:15 here Central Time in Tennessee.
This is nothing for me. I was up at
I know.
I was up at, isn't that impressive? I was still tweeting at 2:47 in the morning on game 3. And by the way, can we just go?
What a
I want it all. Can we just
what a series?
The Jays are something.
Yeah,
I think they win it tomorrow.
Yamamoto's a stud.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, but Yamamoto's a stud.
Yeah. What is it? It's 3-1 right now, right?
No,
3-2.
3-2.
By the way,
Toronto.
the average ticket price, the cheapest ticket price to get into a game for Game 6 right now on resale is over $2,000 Canadian.
You'll have to do a live watch if it's Game 7. If it goes to Game 7, you're gonna have you should do it live watch the whole game.
I've been doing a great job on deck.
I know. Russ has been texting me. He kept telling me, you got to check out Evan's reaction. But anyway, we are 2 hours in. Again, watching Finn's Talk post-game show here on FTSN. We're going to wrap this one up, but it's been a fun show. First off, shout out to Miss Finn Sammy, DSG, everyone who's for a Finkel, all those who's been with us, Raphael, Harrison tuned in, A&E tuned in. If I'm missing you guys, forgive me. I don't want to. I'm looking. Craig, DSG, Frozen Fins fan, Omar, Electro, everyone tuning in. Whether you're even if you're a Ravens fan and you were watching, we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure if you're not a Dolphins fan, hit that like and subscribe button. We got great shows here on the channel: baseball, Heat, NBA, college football. Canesville will be on tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. to talk about the Miami Hurricanes. Make sure you check that out. We do have College Blitz with Russ Morgan and Q on Saturday. No Holds Barred at 2:00. Talking Saturday Night Main Event, which is on Saturday, will be me and Josh Kimmel. And, of course, at 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, Alex and I at 9 p.m. will be wide awake. Alex will be having his cafecito. He'll be up.
Absolutely.
He won't be falling asleep during a show. Monday night, Alex will be doing a double header. It'll be Sunday and Monday. So Monday, Alex will be back with Fitzstanza, with Russ, Evan, do you want to talk about what's going on Monday night with you guys?
We'll have. I'm not going to declare the guest yet. I'll let you do that on Twitter when you post it. But we'll also be having a special guest who Dolphin fans will know. I'll share. Who actually likes the Montreal Expos? So maybe I'm giving it away. But on Monday night, we'll be having a documentary talking about who killed the Montreal Expos. It's a great story if you're a baseball fan or even a sports fan. Like it's an authorized version of MLB. So obviously some of it is but at the same time, you really get a feel for what actually happened. And you get to see when you see some of the players that played for this team, and you look at how stacked this team really was, and how the conspiracies of who did what, it's really intense. Like the fact that a team was literally pulled away because of the stadium and the lies that were told, and it's an amazing. Like to get the perspective is like for me to this day that I'm heartbroken that I can't take my kids on a Sunday to a baseball game. The fact that I don't have a stadium that's just right there. Where
did that team? Was it Washington that took over that team?
Yeah, the Washington Nationals took over that team.
How do you very quick, and I don't want to. I know we're wrapping up. I don't want to sidetrack, but I just have to ask this one opinion.
Yeah.
And Alex, you can answer too, right? Very quick. How do you feel about teams? And this goes for basketball too. When a team like you got Oklahoma City, and they wear let's say they wear a Sonics jersey or Washington Nationals. Let's say because didn't you see that recently? What would you do if the Nationals were an Expos jersey?
Oh, I'd vomit when they want. I would literally. I throw paint at it. I throw eggs at it. It's like when the Carolina Hurricanes in hockey were the Hartford Whalers.
Oh yeah.
This year the Carolina Avalanche
that's what I'm talking
wear
about.
the Quebec Nordiques. No. You have no right to wear that jersey. You're not associated. It's not the same. By the way, you want to know why? Because it's not the same owner. If the same owner that picked up the team. Fine. The owners don't own this team anymore. They're new owners, new franchise, developed. You just took over the rights of that team. You're not the same team because when the Expos left, the team that went to the Nationals was not even close to the team that Montreal was.
No, at all.
Not even close.
A lot of people love via free agency and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway,
but the Montreal Expos to me is. I understand. By the way, I understand why they left, and I understand. I know who I'm blaming for it. But at the same time, if they built a stadium in this city, where it is, they would have. There's so many good places that they could have built this. If one person or a conglomeration have actually put out the money, and Bobby, you should watch it because the owners of this team, the people who, some of the investors, instead of spending money on investing in this team, they spent money suing Jeffrey Loria.
Yeah.
Patheticness, like how you're spending millions of dollars to sue a guy, but you won't spend the money to dip it
to
into
invest on your team to get a return on your investment.
So, exactly. So for me, it proves that the state there was a fan base here. There was a massive fan base here, and you took away our stars. When you take away your stars, it changes the team because right now if you're a Pirates fan, like that's one thing about the Pirates. Like the Pirates are like Paul Skeens, and they have this phenomenal team. They have a phenomenal stadium, but if you don't build around it, like there's problems. Sometimes you have owner problems. Sometimes you have stadium problems. If you took the Pittsburgh Stadium and put it in the same location as Montreal, it'd be packed, no matter what if they were good or bad. We had such a dedicated fan base here because there's no other distraction. We care about our sports. We don't have the beach. We don't have another star. We don't have an NFL team. It's baseball. It's hockey here, and that's about it. And it's hockey. So we don't have an NBA team. We don't have distractions. It's baseball. It would have been baseball and hockey, 2 separate seasons. It was busy all the time.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. Well, we thank you all for tuning in. More Dolphins, more Fins talk on Monday night. You got the Expos, and then at 8 p.m. Eastern time, you'll have Fins talk today with myself and Curtis of Ace Per Head. We'll talk more Dolphins. We appreciate everybody tuning in, even if you're not a Dolphin fan, Raven fans, NFL fans, anyone who just joined us. We appreciate you guys. Ravens for life. I see you, my man. Appreciate you, TG. Appreciate you, everyone watching. Ray Finkel, again, my brother. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. A lot of great content here on FTSN. And I know for Dolphin fans who are watching, who stuck through with us here at 1:21 a.m., I know it's hard. I know it sucks. But like, subscribe, and most importantly, Dolphin fans, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. It is Halloween.
That's true.
And Fins up. Good night.
Fins down.
Good night.
Fins down.